From the Cinderellas to the top seeds, March Madness moves on to the Sweet 16. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Regional Semifinal, tonight on CBS.
March is here, and along with all the action, DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking their customers up with a can't-miss offer. New customers will get 40-1 odds on any college basketball game. Bet just $5 on any game, and if your pick hits, you'll get $200 in free bets. DraftKings Sportsbook has nearly endless ways to get in on the action, from same-game parlays to future betting. Feel the sweat with DraftKings now. Don't worry if you've already taken advantage of this offer. There are still plenty of ways you can get in on college hoop action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. DraftKings offers nearly endless opportunities to reign with their daily fantasy contests, which have millions of dollars up for grabs every week. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code SMOKE, throw down just $5 on any college basketball game of your choice, and get $200 in free bets if the team you chooses wins. That's code SMOKE at DraftKings Sportsbook. Welcome back to All the Smoke.
My brother, back at it.
With the new merch.
As you see.
Yeah,
hey, I'm saying as good as I look, you really ain't have to say that shit. There's gonna be somebody in the comments, where the merch at? You know what I'm saying? This nigga, yeah, you know how they go.
It.
Yeah.
You want to introduce your little homie right there?
This is Louis V. Louis V, you know, on a 10-day contract with All the Smoke. I'm trying him out, you know what I'm saying?
Team dog.
Yeah.
Man, we got an exciting show today. Two brothers, man, I look up to. I think a lot of people look up to in this space.
Yep.
When it comes to just game and financial literacy and knowing what to do and how to stack. Welcome to the show, the Earn Your Leisure brothers.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having us, bro.
Yeah, thank you for coming all from the East Coast. Come fuck. Appreciate it.
Way better weather.
Any excuse to come to LA, man.
Man, a lot of people sat on this couch right here. This the pink velvet. Oh man, enjoy. We're gonna have some fun. Or purple, excuse me. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, you high.
Congratulations, man. 3 years in this space. Talk about how it started and how proud. Obviously, you're not done and you continue to evolve, but how it started and how's it going?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, bro. How it started was, Troy, we've been friends all of our lives. And when I graduated from, it's crazy, I used to play basketball.
Okay.
So
I knew that was in New York. I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
How long he's gonna say it? Right away, he tell y'all, I used to play ball. So everybody that watch our show know, like every episode, he gonna remind y'all
he
played
dressed
ball.
like a hooper. You
It's different now. We were real ballers.
I'm a real baller
I know
too.
you're real baller. This is a different level.
No, it's a fact. Well, yeah, growing up, I had hoop dreams. So, thought I was going to the league. Obviously, when that didn't work out, tried to go overseas. That didn't work out. So coming back home, I always knew that I didn't want to work a regular job. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, something like that. So I tried my hand at being a financial advisor. And I got licensed, and I started a career as a financial advisor, working for an insurance company, selling life insurance, retirement plans, investments, stuff like that.
You gotta tell me who your first client was.
Troy, my first client.
Okay.
Support your brother.
Yeah,
That's right. That's how it goes.
So as I was doing that, he started his career as a teacher.
Okay.
So I never understood that because I'm like, that's like an inmate breaking back into jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hated
Literally,
school.
that's what he used to tell me.
I hated school, and like he goes to school his whole life to go back to school.
Crazy.
So he was teaching, and he was in the Bronx, and he was teaching, and I was like the most anti-school person in the world. I never wanted to step foot in school after I was done with school, but it had a career day at his school, and he asked me to come in and talk to the kids. So I came, I told them what I did, and surprisingly, they was actually very into it. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. Like, going to the school, I hadn't been in school in so long, and going into the school is like, they check your ID and all of that. All right, and then you gotta go through the metal detector, and you gotta sign in, and then all of the windows have bars on it, and nobody can leave the building from 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and all the walls is blue. So I'm like, this looks like a penitentiary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't an environment to learn it. So it was like, this is crazy. How you expect kids to really become something if this is what they have to look forward to every day? So from there, Troy had developed a program. He's working on a program where it was like 14-year-olds, the age that was too old to go to camp, but too young to work. That's a very dangerous age because it's like, most of the time your parents is working, so you at home all summer, and now you don't have anything to do, and you fall into a bunch of negative influences. So it was a program where they had the kids from Monday to Friday, and they would do job internships 2 days a week.
Okay.
And then 2 days a week, there was classroom visits, classroom days where they would learn about etiquette. They would learn about a variety of different things. And one of the things that they learned was financial literacy.
Yeah, I had to call them. Like, look, man, we got this situation here. We're teaching a lot of things. I'm already working in school with middle school age kids, and I'm like, I know the things that we're learning right here is not going to be applied in the future.
In life.
And so I said, all right, I need you to come back and help me. I need you to teach financial literacy. Like you said, he was just starting his career. And he was like, I'm like, nah, here's how it's going to work. I'll write the lesson plans, because that's what I do. You'll come in and just execute the lesson plans. I'll show you how to teach. And we started getting a nice little formula that I would show him how to write lessons and come up with lessons. He would teach me about business. And so we started teaching it to kids. It was like, all right, we got something here. And then he had like a brilliant idea, like, you know what? We should record this. Because one of our young ladies who was working with us, shout out to our sis Valencia, she had come super popular for teaching in Baltimore, but she was recording her classrooms. And we were like, everybody was like, I need that type of teacher. I wish I had that type of teacher. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna record these lessons. And I'm just sitting here like, all right, whatever, man. Let's just keep going, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much they need to learn. And at the end, this is the key. They were gonna get paid. So this is the first time these 14-year-olds were gonna have money. And so the value of that was like, we need to teach them about the value, like what money is, how to be responsible with it, how to save, how to invest, how to share it, right? Because the first thing they're going to do once they get paid is like, it's back to school. We're going to blow this bread. But that's true at any age,
That's
right?
life.
Like, teenagers are going to do that. Adults are going to do that.
Right.
Everybody does that, right? If we don't know what to do with it, we do what we know, and that's just spend.
Right.
And so he just started recording, and then
Yeah, then just went crazy on social media. And then that was like the start of it. And then everybody was asking like, more content. They thought we had a podcast already. And then, I was like, all right, let's just do a podcast. And then 3 years later, here we are.
Yeah, I think we got that. Like, we had no idea what a podcast was. Like, they asked him doing it. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, how do we record? Yeah, same thing. Like, how do we record? Where does this go?
He definitely didn't know. He just said, just sign me up.
What it's meant to be. My dog going, I'm right behind it.
That's exactly what it was. He was like, you want to do it? We was in my basement. He was like, you want to do a podcast? I was like, all right, what we do? And then we just took it from there. Like, he wrote down everything he wanted to do. And I was like, all right, let's come. We got to do a name. How many times we going to record? What we going to wear? What we going to talk about? When we going to release it? How we going to release it? What are we going to record? All these things that we had no idea.
All in-house?
Like, literally in-house.
We're going to talk about this, but keep going.
Yeah, so in-house, like, in my dining room. And so
Literally in-house,
like literally in
yeah.
my dining room, like with my I just got a new chandelier. We had to make sure that wasn't in each shot. We used our iPhones and had these shotgun mics. He put out a post. We didn't even know how to record, so he put out a post and like, yo, does anybody know how to record a podcast? And somebody responded, and I was like, I know him. Like, he was my son's daycare teacher. And so he started coming and recording for us, and we're like, all right. So I'm watching that as he's doing it. But we were just like, all right, we kind of want to keep things in. Like, if he wanted to fix something, I'm like, I need to know right away so I could fix it, rather than telling the third party, and it's like, we got to wait for that. So I just started studying everything about how to record. Like, I spent like 10 to 15 hours on learning the GarageBand. It's been on my computer. I had no idea how to use it. I started watching shows very intently. I'm looking at the Breakfast Club. What mics they using? All right, we got to get those mics. We got to sound like them. We got to be the best, right? And so, like, when I remember going to Guitar Center, and the box was like, this mic was used by Michael Jackson when he recorded Thriller. I'm like, yeah, we need this right here.
Yeah.
This is what we need. And then I spent hours in Guitar Center teaching me about what XLR chords are and teaching me how to use a focus bright. And I was like, all right, I think I got it. We can produce this. And we just went crazy. And then I let him talk about the social media part, because that really propelled it even further.
Yeah, social media changed everything for us. And it was like, I had an idea. I always knew that the good thing with Instagram is that it made an opportunity for really anybody to become a celebrity.
To be heard.
So it was like, previously you have to be an athlete or an entertainer to be a celebrity, in our culture at least. But I started seeing like, you could be a celebrity chef, you could be a celebrity trainer. So I'm like, you could even be a celebrity financial guy. So I was like, all right, if we just put out content and put it on social media and like swag it up. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the way we present content is completely different. So people really like, it was the first time that they actually got to see financial literacy, business and investing, but it was like a conversation that you was having in a barbershop.
from our own culture.
Exactly.
Totally different, never been done before.
Exactly. Exactly. And then it just caught like wildfire. Everything just was going viral. People sharing stuff, information, and it was just like where we are now. Everything was just organic. But social media, Instagram was like really the engine that propelled everything.
I love it. Speak to, we were kind of talking about it off camera, and it really isn't even on script, but the way you were kind of breaking it down to me, like I think it needs to be heard. The importance of having your IP and how you guys, because you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 different shows, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So break them down. I mean, talk your shit real quick.
I mean, we always, just coming in, everything that we did was just independent. Like he said, we started, in his dining room and we learned everything. And we was real big on just maintaining our independence from an early point and just seeing how, people made mistakes in music. We understood like it's something that's very important to have control over what you create. So that was very important for us from the beginning. And the leverage is that, we didn't necessarily need the money because at first, I still had my job, he still had his job. So we was fine with just, reinvesting the money that we was getting. And then once we started to actually figure out the podcast game, we could talk about this if you want as well. We found other ways to monetize other than like the regular podcast way. It's just only through corporate ads. Yeah. So we was kind of cool with not having any corporate ads and we could still monetize the situation. So that gave us a lot of leverage when we came in to start working with corporations, where it's like I have no problem partnering with you,
right,
but this is still our situation. So like you said, as far as we have like relationships with iHeart. Shout out to them. Shout out to Charlemagne. We have relationships with a lot of different companies, Ally, Bang, Chase, things of that nature. But they are our partners. It's a difference from actually working with somebody and working for somebody. So that's something that, we was real big on early on. And the fortunate thing for us is that being in the business space, we were able to learn a lot too, from like connecting with different people, different lawyers, different conversations that we were having. So every conversation that we was having, it was kind of like a free tutorial. Yeah,
right.
So that's something that I encourage everybody to do is, and even if you do sell it later on, it's something that Dame told me too. Shout out to Dame. Y'all should have him as a guest, by the way. He loves to smoke.
Chain smoker.
Yeah. Dame told me, he was like, even if you lease the content, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can lease it for a couple of years and then get it back. Mm-hmm. And then that way, it's like you leverage the corporation. They put you on a bigger platform. You get a bag, but then after the 2 years, then you can get back. It's like it's like an artist, like, having their masters, and then they can reverse it back to them after a couple of years. We talk about, like T.I. had spoke to us about that as well. So, just picking up game from different people, and it's like, all right, this is a way to actually still leverage it, keep our independence, keep the brand that we've built, but also use the corporations to just raise our platform.
It's crazy because we act, like you said, like every time we had a guest, it was like we were learning. And now when we hear it, we're like, we got to apply it. And so when we had our tax professional come on, she's telling us game, all right, we got to apply it. When we had our attorney come on, she's talking about trademarking. It was like, wait, we can't keep saying the name without trademarking. So people don't even realize that's a step. Like, we got to trademark it, but trademark it in specific areas because it's different categories, right? So if I want to have this merch on, I have to trademark it for merch. I also have to trademark it if I'm using it for an educational platform, which it is. And so that was a process too. But even like that licensing piece, like we did an episode, rest in peace to Virgil, we were breaking down how he was leveraging Off-White's name to license. We saw that with Disney already. Right, we see Mickey Mouse everywhere. Like, wow, this is not a Disney store. Oh, they licensed in the character. It was like, oh. So as we kept listening and getting information, we kept executing on the information. Right, like I always say, like people are watching and listening, but they're not paying attention. Right. They just want to be entertained, but it's like, nah, we're here to educate. This is different.
Right.
So that was like the game changer.
Well, I think you guys make it understandable because I think for so often the people delivering the message can't relate to us, period. Yeah. So anything they say, you may pick up things here and there, but I feel like it's still a problem in the NBA. There's who's delivering the message doesn't get through or doesn't break through. So you guys are being more relatable. Obviously, Jack touched on that earlier, but just being something from the culture for the culture. So if we could learn from each other, man, that's the key. Yeah. You making it fun.
I was listening to Kendrick while he was coming here, and he had this line. He was like, how do I enlighten you without trying to frighten you? And I was like, ooh, that's it, right? We're going to speak the language because it's digestible, and this is how whatever the music we listen to, this is what it sounds like. The conversations we have, whether it be in the barbershop, this is what it sounds like, and this is naturally what we do. So it's like, they're going to be more receptive because it looks like something. We did this event with the NFL. Remember this? We came in, and they had like a bunch of people speaking, and shirts and ties and everything. And we
I want to hear that.
Yeah, they sitting in the room. They're like, who these guys coming? And then they put us up last. And so we talked about different types of topics and saving and what they could do with their money. And after we finished, they were like, yo, damn, bro, why they put y'all last, man? I was bored out of my mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not trying to hear that.
Relatable.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, it was like a breath of fresh air for them, for sure.
Yeah. You grew your audience really quick. Why do you feel like, I think we know, but why do you feel like it grew so fast?
I feel like one of the best advice that I got in coming in social media is look what everybody else is doing and do the complete opposite. And I feel like that's true in anything in life. Like, the vast majority of people is going to follow whatever is successful at that point in time. Music, fashion, whatever. Most people are just followers. The problem with following is that you're always going to be one step behind. And you always got to, whenever the leader decides to change directions, you got to change directions with the leader, as opposed to just doing your own thing. So when we came in, everybody that was talking about finance, even black people talking about finance, they was all buttoned up, they wore suits. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not how we was dressing on a regular basis. So we used music, sports, culture, fashion, all of that. And then we tied it in with pop culture, like even breaking down different finance stories. Originally, the original tagline was the backstories of sports and entertainment. So like the first couple of episodes, we really focused on sports and entertainment. We was breaking down the deals, like 50 Cent's vitamin water deal or Soulja Boy, stuff like that. And people really loved that because it's like the Trojan horse. Like we know we love sports and entertainment. So we'll lead with a headline story about sports and entertainment, but we'll tie in the business on the back end. And then we didn't even have to do that anymore. We just started just talking about straight business. So I think the reason that we grew so fast was that, we was just true to ourselves. We didn't try to be anybody that we weren't. And there was a wide variety of people that was left out. Like, there was people that thought that a business podcast from two young black men could never become as successful as it was because they thought that black people wasn't interested in business. It's not that they wasn't interested in business. Nobody was speaking to them. And for a long time, we just thought that it was over our head. Like, they try to complicate things and make it seem like, okay, that's not for you. Let us do it. Don't worry about it. But then once they realize, like, nah, this isn't that complicated. I could do this. I could understand this just like anything else. And now it becomes fun. It's like, I could make money in stocks. I could make money in crypto. I could buy real estate. I could do this. I could do that. And it's really generational changing because it's like, we're taught to just go to school and get a job, right? Unless you are fortunate enough to make it to the league or become a rapper, but that's a very small percent of the population. So the vast majority of people is like, all right, if I can get a union job or if I can become like, where we're from, like sanitation or something like that's real big, and there's no disrespect, that's a tremendously important job, but it's like we never think bigger than that because we don't see bigger than that.
Right.
We don't know a lot of CEOs. We don't know a lot of people that's really running hedge funds and stuff like that. So you only really aspire to what you see. That's why we aspire to be athletes because
drug dealers.
Yeah, that too.
Rappers, drug dealers.
Yeah, because we know at least one of those that's successful.
Yeah, we see that.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
It's like, my man just got a record deal. My man, so it's like, but now they can say, okay, well, he's actually doing this in real estate. He's actually doing this as an accountant. And he's still cool. He still listens to the same music. He still dresses the same way. It's no problem.
And then the music was like a part of the carrot, right? Like when we was in the classroom, it was like, I remember writing rap lyrics. And when the kids sat down, like they read the lyric and that was like, we're gonna teach about business. So I would use like 21 Savage. I would use Jay-Z. I remember we used the Beyonce joint when she was like,
pay me
my check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me the equity. Watch me reversal the debt. Like just that bar. Like now we got a whole financial literacy lesson based on what Beyonce said. Like what's equity? Well, here's what it is. You see what I'm saying? And that was a carrot. Now we can have any discussion.
Right.
Plus we dressed, like you said, we dressed how we dress. So it was like, that was a social equity. You walk into school and you got a fresh pair of J's on. They're like, all right, let me hear what he's saying. Rather if I wouldn't in there with my shirt and tie, no disrespect to anybody that does that. But it's like, here come another teacher. It's like, yo, who are these guys? You know what I'm saying? It gives that aspiration, like you said. There's 3 things that we know we can be because that's all we ever watched. Like I remember watching Rap City. I remember watching V-Music Box. I watched All Nothing But Sports. And it was like, all right, well, if I don't do those things, what's my value in my community?
Right.
Like, what value do I have? Like, you know what I'm saying? The athlete, the ball player.
Or like you said, like a hustler, it's like that same love. Like if you get that love as a hustler, like you got a nice car, you got a nice watch, the girls, whatever, and it's like that's something that's you can aspire to. But now they see like you can have that just legally. You don't have to, sacrifice your life for your freedom. to attain these things. So it's just opening up, I think, a whole new generation's mind that there's so many limitless possibilities.
Y'all talking the language that nobody was talking though, like in that space. You know what I'm saying? It makes it relatable to us. Like even me, you know, I'm a real one. I wasn't interested in listening to it or learning about it until I started watching y'all show. So, you know what I'm saying? But I can understand it. There's certain people I wouldn't want to listen to, you know what I'm saying? I just couldn't vibe with. So to be able to bring that to our culture and talk that we understand, that's big for us. We need that.
It's digestible too, like you said. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah, and it's people that look like us, right? Like how many times do we have people that look like us that are being championed? Like before, like we started the platform, we didn't see it. It was like the aspiration was like, all right, maybe they'll get to the Breakfast Club, and then people will be able to see them. And so we were like, well, everybody can't make it there. So let's highlight some of the people who are doing amazing things and give them a platform to speak. And so now the real estate broker, right? The guy who's trading stocks, he's as popular, right? The guy who has a vending machine company, he becomes the 15-year-old who has his own clothing line in Philly, he becomes popular. The guy who has a trucking business or the mobile
people who are really doing
stuff that you could actually do, right? And they're telling you how to do it, which is different. Like there's a whole generation where we watched people in our community make it to heights that we never thought possible. They never told us how to do it. We just watched them do it like, I want to be like that. But how?
And also, it gives even celebrities a chance to show a different side of themselves. So it's like Jim Jones. You see Jim, everybody knows, hardcore rapper, all of that stuff. But it's like, nah, this dude is really, really smart.
Very
in the
smart.
crypto, NFT. So when he sits down with us, that's like his opportunity to talk about all of these different things. Now you start to even look at him in a different light. Like, I didn't know you was into all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You'd be surprised. I love it. So who was Earn Your Leisure for then? You told us what you do.
It's for everybody, bro. I feel like anybody that's interested in learning about business or investing, and that's the crazy part about it, where it's like, you know, never thought that it would reach so many different people. And it's from every single person. So we have even our guests. Some people just came out of jail and they are entrepreneurs. Some people went to Harvard. So Earn Your Leisure, we're big in colleges, big in Ivy League schools. But you know what else we're really, really big in? The jails. Like the jails love us. Like we big in jails. Overseas, we went to Nigeria, huge turnout. That's our number one market outside of America, Nigeria. All throughout the Caribbean, London, Toronto. So I feel like
step our game up.
Like a motherfucker.
I feel like it's for everybody, just the whole entire world. And you know, that's one of the good things about business is that it's so many different avenues of business. Like you got sports, you got music, you got taxes, you got crypto, you got stocks. There's so many different things. So even if you're not interested in one particular thing, there's something that, you know, you might be interested in. And there's so many different walks of life, different types of people. So I feel like it's for everybody.
That changes the whole dynamic of a community, right? Like now you can just throw a dart and say, I can do that.
Yeah.
Wait, this is the guy that does it? I could do that. I could be him. Like it's gonna be tough. We always say it all the time. It's gonna be tough for me to be you. Like you have a God like gift, right? Like you have a gift that was given to you. Even if I try my hardest, especially me, like if I try my hardest, I'm not gonna be y'all. Like I can't make it to the league, right? So what do? Oh wait, I can do these things, right? You know what I'm saying? And you can too. That's what he said, is giving people an opportunity. Everybody can. Everybody can be in business. Everybody in this room is in business. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's in business in one way or another.
They're in it,
sure.
Right? And that's the thing what we learned very early was like, there is no age limit to it. So when we were teaching 14-year-olds, it was cool, but their parents needed to know this information too, right? And like I think I heard somebody say this the other day, it was like the only color that matters in business is green, right? And so like when we teach people and we see them execute on it, it's like, all right, they're making money. That's why they keep coming back to it, because it's like, wait, this is different, right? This isn't a transactional relationship. I always talk about transactional and transformational as two different things, right? I pay you, I go see your game, you entertain me. If I can afford to pay to come back to watch you play, I'm good. If I can't, now what? Like I watch you on TV, you can entertain me. If I give you information, that makes it transformational. I give you information, you execute on it, you make money. Whoa, I gotta go back. And when I go back, I'm bringing him with me.
Right.
Like, yo, look, I just make some money listening to you. Yo, come here, sis. Like, yeah, really you. Come here, sis. Like, we made money. And now that changes the trajectory of her family. You see what I'm saying? Now it's like, wait.
Domino effect.
You forgot about the game you used to watch. This is the new game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. When did you guys kind of realize you were making an impact in these communities?
You know, it's so crazy being in LA. So shout out to Al Harrington. This was early. So episode 16, we came, this was our first trip that we took.
That's when I met y'all, right?
No. This is way before that. Yeah. So episode 16, we came to LA to shoot Al Harrington. He was like our first celebrity that we shot also. So being that we was in LA, we had the idea to just do a networking event, free networking event. And we had never been to LA to do an event before. We had never done an event before. So we didn't really know what to expect. Long story short, it was packed. People came from San Diego, OC, and it was in Carson on a Monday. It was very random. And I'm like, all right, I got people coming from 2 hours, like, it's something there. Like, you know what I mean? That was like the first thing that really like gave us the confidence to be like, all right, this is gonna be big.
I remember teaching, I was a phys ed teacher, and him and my other partner, Mike, you know, they always been entrepreneurs. And we were putting up posts and putting up episodes, and somebody wrote under a post like, yo, y'all not gonna believe this, but I'm in Nigeria right now, and I'm listening to y'all, and it's changing my life. And I'm sitting here trying to teach kids like spatial awareness using hula hoop. And I'm looking at my phone like, oh, this is different. Like, this is different. Like, there's an impact here, but there's a greater impact outside of here. And I was like, okay, we got to keep going. They were like, yo, when you gonna quit your job? When you gonna quit your job? I'm like, I can feel it coming. It's about to. It's about to pause.
What's one piece of financial advice you would give someone starting their business?
I would say, from a financial standpoint, make sure you have reserves. That kills a lot of businesses as far as like you start a business, you don't really have.
Explain what that means.
All right, so
reserves.
Money that's saved up. So if you start a business, right, and you don't have any money, what happens is that usually in business you don't make money at least for like the first couple of years on average, right? Some businesses, you know, are different, but you don't make money for the first couple of years. So now if you start a business and you don't have any income coming in, or the money that you have coming in, you gotta put it back out to reinvest in the business. Now it puts you in a tremendous financial hardship. So you gotta, you know, try to borrow money from friends, or you deplete your retirement savings, stuff like that. And that's why a lot of small businesses fail. Our problem in our community is that there's no mentorship. It's not that there's a lack of entrepreneurship, because you see a lot of entrepreneurs, but how many mom and pop businesses you see start and then 3 months later it closes? It's a cycle. Reason being is that there's no mentorship, lack of funding, and the not having a business plan in place.
That's it.
So having a plan in place and understanding that, all right, this is going to take some time. So I'm going to have money saved up, or you can not actually leave your job yet. Like, you can still work your job knowing that, you know, if this isn't going to work out for me right away, I still have some income that's coming in, right? I can't just rely just on being an entrepreneur, because there's ups and downs in entrepreneurships. You might make $10,000 1 month, and you might not make any money for 4 months. And that's something that I learned early on, you know, working the job that I did, it was commission-based. So I learned early on about, you know, how to budget your money, how not to, it's like sports. Like, you never get too high, you never get too low.
Even kill.
Exactly. There's ups and downs in this game. So it's like 1 minute you bowling, the next minute you're down to your last dollar. But that's just real. That's just how entrepreneurship works, right? But it's like, in order to know, try to avoid that, you want to have a strategy. You want to try to have as much money saved as possible. You always want to reinvest in the business. That's something that we did early on. Like, for like the first 18 months, any money that came in, we just reinvested it, because we knew that, you know, by taking money prematurely is going to stifle the growth of the business. Yep. So that's another thing too. Don't try to just ball out. A business isn't to ball out. A business is to grow. Yeah. So I mean, that's a couple of tips. I think
it's great. Like, he was on the entrepreneurial side. I was a guy that was working a 9 to 5. And so I always tell people, like, yeah, you can have your 9 to 5, but what you do from 6 to 12 will determine how long you have the 9 to 5. And so, like, when we were doing this, I was teaching, but like on my lunch break, I'm reading. I'm looking at episodes, I'm teaching myself, I'm learning, I'm shooting ads. We was doing Anchor. I'd be in the bathroom, like, yo, everybody quiet out there, like, shooting an ad. Like, whatever free time I had, I was spending on doing this, because I'm like, all right, this will take me out of this 9 to 5. And so, like, again, you don't have to quit your 9 to 5 to start a business. Wait till you've actually accumulated money inside that business. Like you said, we stayed down until we came up 18 months, probably a little bit longer. We didn't take anything until we said, all right, we at a point where we can actually have a distribution from what we've generated in funds. So stay down till you come up, number one.
Gang.
Talk about EYL University and how that came about from the podcast.
Yeah, so EYL University was something that, all right, we realized that there was millions of people that was checking out our content, right? And it's like, all right, how do we give a more in-depth experience? So we kind of look at it as like public school and private school. So the public school, is Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. That's free. It's free information. Anybody can learn all day. We put out content like all day. Some people need more of a hands-on experience. So we decided to actually create an online institution where it's like at this point almost daily classes. So it's everything about like how to trade stocks, how to buy real estate, how to credit, business credit, all that stuff.
Cannabis.
And yeah, for sure. So we have teachers that actually teach, right? And it's built out of a school model. Because the thing about school is that the structure of school isn't bad. It's what they're teaching us that's bad. But there's actually some good benefits in school as far as the structure of it. So we took the structure of school as far as like we created infinity clubs inside. So there's 20 different infinity clubs. There's like a military club, earners over 50 club, like you said, a cannabis club. These are things people like to do things in groups, right? So we have a book club, a movie club. These are all things that actually are built after the school model, right? So we said, okay, we have an opportunity to completely change education. Because it's not that education is bad. Like I said, it's just what they're teaching us is bad. So it's like, all right, if we can actually build like an online institution where people are actually learning, not theory, but people that's actually really, really doing it, right? And then they can come together in a community and then they can work with each other. How can we do this and scale it? So that's where EYL University came into play, and it's like at a fraction at the cost. So as opposed to paying $50,000 and going into debt a semester, you could pay $1,000 for the entire year. Sure. So that was something that we thought, and we started that 2 years ago. Now it's like 12,000 members in EYL University.
And it was another way to expand the podcast in itself, the show. I know Dame said stop calling the podcast. So the show, it was
it's
like
definitely bigger than that.
Bigger than that, yeah. So imagine if Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes did an episode on Earn Your Leisure, and then 3 weeks later, you had some questions about the episode, and now they're teaching the class about how to start a podcast.
Yeah, sign us up. Don't play games.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like now, I'm a Earn Your Leisure. I'm an earner, and now I get to ask you the question that I had after watching that episode. We never saw anything like that. Like you see somebody do an interview.
Carryover.
Yeah, it was like, all right, well. Here they are right in front of you. You can ask questions, and you can hear them actually go into more detail. Because the show is about an hour, 10 minutes for the most part, but they have more information to give. So they have that now open forum for our earners to actually hear in-depth conversation and then ask questions from it too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching shit you can apply to real life.
Yeah.
It
Real
could
time.
be 4 years of business school or
a crash
6
course
weeks.
in what we
at
got.
Earn Your Leisure.
Right.
It's like one thing that we learned early on, shout out to my man Derek Falcon. Hey, people talk about multiple streams of income, right? And they say the average millionaire has like 7 streams of income. So that discourages the average person because they're looking at it like, I got to get 7 jobs.
Right.
Or I got to start 7 businesses. No, not really. You got to develop 7 streams of income from one tree. So it's like, if you are a restaurant owner, now you should have a cookbook. You could do online tutorials. You could sell merch. You could do Uber Eats. You could cater events. And so now that's like 7 different streams, but it's still under the umbrella of one restaurant.
Yeah.
So we took that same approach as far as like, with our touring, with the merch, with the EYL University, with so many different things that we had Patreon where it was like, all right, this is the original mothership as far as the content, and it's all based around education, but now we can branch out and to do different things. Now it's different businesses too, and now it's like, so we employ probably 15 people, right? So it's like each business has different people that now they're being employed. So now it's actually creating opportunities. So we talk about group economics. That's another play on it as well, where it's like, all right, we start a trucking business. We got an 18-wheeler truck. So we don't have time to run the trucking business. And now we got to have somebody to actually.
That one truck?
Yeah, one truck right
Me and
now.
my brother trying to, what'd I tell you in Atlanta like last year? Let's like
Last
stay in the trucking business.
Yeah, that's
bro.
why our truck is in Atlanta.
Yeah, based in Atlanta, it goes all over though.
Goes over,
Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah,
tell
but
him.
we heard that on the episode. So that's what I'm saying. We hear the information, then we get to execute on it.
Right.
Now we start a trucking business. Now we get to employ people that we know to run the business.
Fact.
Do the same thing with vending machines. We went back, hired somebody that has grown up with us, and now he's in charge of the vending machine business inside our old high school. And now we give back to the high school with the profits that we make from the machine. And so like we get the information, and now we execute on it. So it's like people are watching it, they're learning the information, and they're like, I could do it. And then they're seeing us actually doing it. Like,
yeah.
I'm doing it.
That's another thing too. It's happening in real time. So it's like they're actually seeing our growth. Like they see a lot of people been with us in the beginning. So they saw us at the dining room table. Now they see us going to Egypt doing a podcast on the Nile River. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like but it's also inspiring because it's like, all right, We had a trucking episode, now they see we got a truck. We did a vending machine episode, now they see we got vending machines.
Real estate.
They see, real estate, now they see we buying homes in Cleveland. And now they see like, okay, merch. We started off with t-shirts, now we got a whole clothing line. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Clean you wearing right there.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Shout out to my man Mike V. So it's like, you know, showing and actually implement at the same time. So it's like, okay, they're not just talking about it, they actually doing it.
Yeah. We're going to come take like a dummy crash course this summer. I'm speaking for him too. We just going to come stay with y'all like for a week.
Nah, come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll come here.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Whatever. Yeah, you just make me want to be smarter. So we definitely got to make that happen.
It's cool. Now it's cool. Somebody was like, yo, you know what makes y'all dope, man? Y'all make it cool to be smart.
Right. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
And you're talking my shit like I'm
You know
the
what
one.
I'm
Like I try to learn as much as I can. You know what I mean? So I just love people that are. I always try to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. You know what I mean, to be able to take that next step. So
March Madness is here. Not everyone can have a perfect bracket, but you can have a perfect set of balls. This tournament season with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming has just launched their ultra-premium collection to give you the total championship hygiene routine. When the clock winds down in March, be clutch and avoid the upset with Manscaped ultra-premium collection to keep everything under control. It's important to have a grooming routine so you can feel extremely confident. We all know how essential the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 electric trimmer is for the precise trim below the waist. Their advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts on your basketballs. But now, you can enhance your big dance in the shower with their ultra-premium collection. The package includes the Manscaped Premium Deodorant. Not for your balls, for your armpits. The deodorant dries clear. It's aluminum-free and smells like the signature scent. It also has hydrating body moisture. It's designed to keep the skin feeling clean, smooth, and smelling fresh. Manscaped also included their body wash that lathers you up with their infused aloe vera and sea salt shower gel. Finally, they threw in a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner and a 3-pack set of lip balm as a free gift. There's 4 products plus a gift set inside the Ultra Premium collection. All of these products are cruelty-free, paraben-free, vegan-friendly, and dye-free. The best ingredients with zero compromise. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SMOKE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code SMOKE. Make sure you call on Manscaped this tournament season or your bracket won't be the only thing that's busted.
you guys have a second podcast and TV show, Market Mondays, and assets over liabilities on Revolt.
Yeah.
I mean, keep dropping game, man. I really feel like I want to take notes, no bullshit, because I had a meeting here earlier and I just want to sit here and take notes, but I'm going to watch it later and take notes.
I felt like we learned a lot from music. Like, he was huge music fans. Like, still are huge music fans. So I'm like, all right, being that we had a success on Earn Your Leisure, it took off. I'm like, all right, it's cool to have, one successful show, but how do we really scale it? And it's like, we scale it by start producing content with other people. So I put on Instagram, like, I want to start producing content for other people. And then we just did a stock show with Ian Dunlap. Shout out to Ian. He's a master investor on Instagram. And he put on the comments, like, I'm interested. I want to do a show. So we collaborated and we came up with the idea of Market Mondays. Market Mondays is crazy because it came out like when the stock market was crashing. At the beginning of Corona, the stock market crashed. So you probably wouldn't think it would be a good idea to put out a stock show. But we put it out and it's a live show on YouTube. So it's a live experience every Monday at 8 o'clock. And it just becomes a cultural phenomenon. So like last week we had 10,000 people on live. Wow. Like, this is crazy. Like yesterday we had 9,000 people on, same time as the national championship game.
We competing with Monday Night Football every week.
So it's like, who would have thought that people were talking about stocks for 2 hours on Monday night at 8 o'clock, Monday Night Football, everything we competing with. 10,000 people watching at one time. Like, that's crazy. So it's just become something that's just been really dope. And like I said, shout out to Ian because he has really been a real gem as far as like helping people and giving them stock advice, stock tips. And the best thing is when people actually make money.
Yeah, it is.
That's the best form of marketing because it's like, you tell somebody like this might be something that could actually potentially do something for you. They invest in it. They up 80%. Word of mouth. Like, you don't even got to run ads or nothing.
I'm tuning in. Tuning in. What's
the
next?
best promotion.
Yeah, people, they walk up to us and they're like, yo, I got this amount of money in my account. I've never seen this money. Like, this dude showed me, I have 40,000 in my portfolio. I'm from the street, bro. I've never seen this. And it was clean. Like I was watching my back, like, yo, is this real? At first, it's like, yo, is this real? Then another dude, we was actually Thanksgiving. We was doing a Thanksgiving give back in Dykeman in the city, and this dude was like, yo, look, my portfolio, $125,000. I'm like, the fact that he even felt comfortable showing it to me was one thing, but the fact that he did it and executed it was like another thing. That's what I said. Like, that's that transformational relationship. You made money, now you come back, and now you got to tell people. That amount of money can change somebody's entire situation in life, right? And then they get the skill. Once they have the skill, now it's just a countdown, right? Now it's not like, yo, I got to wait till 65 to retire. Now it's like, how much money do I need to stop working right now? And that's a shift too. You know what I'm saying?
And the crazy thing is, like, so many street dudes come up to me all the time, and they like, yo, am I in the right stocks?
Yo, they don't want to talk about bull. They don't want to talk about bull.
Yo,
they
it's
want to talk about companies.
It's an amazing phenomenon, man. Like, I don't know why, but
like,
they love stocks more than anybody. They be like, yo, I just did Tesla. I'm like, hi, bro. Like, so it's so crazy that show was like really helped a lot of people. And then, so after that show became so successful, we're like, all right, we need to expand it. So now we started the EYO network. So the network now, we have 5 shows. We have a real estate show. We have a mental health show. We have another financial literacy show. I look at like Bill Simmons in The Ringer, right? Like, it's like,
someone's gonna come
quietly,
that was the idea.
He got 200 million quietly. Like, nobody even knows about that, right? And then I'm looking at like, all right, it's one thing to be, they try to keep us, when I say us, like black creatives, as one-offs. Because as long as you get one-offs, you're not really getting no money. Like, you get 1 million, 2 million, even if you get 10 million, all right, cool. But it's like, I compare it to like an artist. Like, Lil Wayne is a big artist, but Cash Money got the $120 million, right? Because they have a whole label. You only see the labels getting that kind of money. So I'm like, all right, now, if we create a label, now, once we get the 100, 200 million, now every show gets their part, and now we go a lot further together as opposed to individuals. So even like working with iHeart, that was one of the strategic moves on our behalf. It was like, all right, Charlamagne, he's a good dude, we rock with him. So let's take Earn Your Leisure to iHeart for 2 years. And now we get to leverage the relationship with them. We get to learn, though. That's the most important thing. Even we get to the revolt situation too. But anything that we do with corporate is usually to elevate our brand, but more importantly, to learn. We like spies inside the building. So like, that's what Dame told us as well. Like, learn the people that's selling the ads, develop relationships with them, right? Because it's like, A, you might be able to hire them, or at the very least, you know the language that they're speaking. So now you can get your own ad team. When you're in a corporation, whether it's a record label or anything, the most important thing is to learn, because they've built a $1 billion business already. So they know something that we don't know. So it's education, it's real-time education. So that's one of the things. So like, even like the contracts, is like, all right, this is their contract? All right, cool. This is our contract.
Yo, that was one of the best things Charlamagne said. Shout out to him. He was like, yo, use us. I want you to use us. And I was like, all right, bet. And so like, when we had to drop contracts for our shows, all right, let's look what iHeart did. All right, this is how they dropped their contract. All right, now we go to our shows. When they have meetings, our bi-weekly, I don't know when y'all got, we got the bi-weekly meetings, I listen how they ask questions. I see the type of advice. I see how they try to do analytics. All right, so now when I have my bi-weekly meeting with EYO Network, I'm just repeating. I don't have to like reinvent it. That's one of the things he said early. It was like, in school you were taught not to copy, right? But in business, you should be copying because it's already working. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can tweak it to have like some changes for you, but you don't have to reinvent it. And so if they have something that's successful, let me use that. All right, we're gonna tweak a little bit. We got this. They didn't do this, so I need to do it. But we don't have to reinvent anything, right? We're just learning. Every relationship we're learning. So any corporate relationship comes in, all right, here's the notes. Bet, this is what we learned from it. It's the same thing we did with the episodes. Here, tell me what's your business. All right, bet. Yo, we should do this. Let's go do this.
Yeah, I told you I want to be taking notes. I keep whispering this motherfucker over here, but I'm with it. Assets over liability, I think that's very relatable to our culture. You know what I mean? Because everyone wants the jewelry, the cars, the houses without owning anything that really makes sense.
It's so crazy because, so merch was something that we thought we had to do early on to like expand the brand. So I was thinking about different stuff, and I'm like, all right, what really sums up Earn Your Leisure in a few words? Assets. Oh, I didn't know that it was a really big accounting term. I didn't even know that at the time. But I'm like, assets over liabilities, and I'm playing around with it, and then I'm like, assets, and then liabilities under, and then a line, so you get the point, assets over liability. And that just became like a cultural phenomenon. Everybody, Rick Ross to this day calls us assets over liabilities. He's like, yo, assets over liabilities.
That's the I love y'all niggas.
I'll tell you, you guys have had some big names, Ross, Soulja Boy, T.I., that have crossed over in the space and are in the business space too. So who better to learn and give advice to?
Exactly. And that's another thing too. The podcast, and I'm sure you guys know this, it's a great networking tool. So it's like a lot like T.I. is so crazy. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time growing up. So we only established a relationship with him through the show at Silver Liabilities. Then once he came on the show, he was like, yo, yeah, cool dude. Now it's like every single week, he's just calling like, yo, what's up? What's going on?
Weekly calls with Tip.
What's up this metaverse? How do I get involved? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a great networking tool to actually build relationships with people. And that's another gem for anybody that's out there looking to create a content or create podcasts. If you actually want to establish a relationship with somebody, probably the best way to do that is to interview them. Because people love to talk about themselves. You know what I'm saying? But then that's a door opener, and now you got their number and you can just talk to them forever.
Yeah, and a lot of times they never get to talk about this. Anytime Ross come on traditional platforms, they want to hear about the music he putting out. Now, we want to talk about all of this. We want to talk about the promised land and what the ideas. Like, nobody's having those conversations. So it was like, all right, bet. This becomes more important because, like I said, most people are not going to be able to rhyme like Rick Ross or even T.I.
Right.
But they can have businesses, they can have real estate like him. So, like, how did you do that?
They can own a Wingstop like him.
They can own a few Wingstops like him. You see what I'm saying? Or they could have a trap music museum.
Right.
The idea, the concept for it. So let's talk about that. Let's get to the real estate plays behind that because, that's obtainable. Right. That's a God-given gift you have.
And it's just, so it's like Jim Jones. So Jim Jones comes on our podcast, right? And then we have him back on the market Mondays to talk about crypto. Then we invite him. We had a festival in Atlanta called InvestFest. He actually invited himself. So he comes to talk about crypto.
Definitely did.
Then we had a show at the Apollo. So we paid him to perform at the Apollo. He has a podcast. So now he invites us on his podcast. His manager just hit me. They got an opportunity in DR. They want us to come out. Exactly. Yeah. So that's like, a lot of times people, they want to network with somebody from a selfish standpoint. It's like, what can you do for me? Yep. That's not really networking, that's charity. And it's only so much charity that you can do. But when you can actually give an opportunity to somebody, when you can, now, it's the law of reciprocity. They're going to actually look out for you because you've done something for them. Now that's a real relationship.
That's great.
One hand wash the other.
Even this, like, we emailed, I think, Gina in July. Because we were like, yo, we want to get those guys to come to InvestFest. When the opportunity came, she was like, wait, I got these guys I'm thinking of, Earn Your Leisure. I still have the email. She emailed us like, hey, you guys want to come to Cali? I'm like, yeah, we coming to Cali.
Oh yeah, that was from that email thread, right?
Email from trying to get y'all to come.
Yeah, we trying to get y'all to come to InvestFest.
Oh, okay,
she remembered
the schedule.
She's like, yo, schedule, but she
Shout out
remembered
Gina,
us.
she's the shit.
Yeah. She remembered us, and that led to this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Just the power of relationships.
Yeah, no, because I saw you at another
And then, we ran into
event. I ran,
events.
like, man, I fuck with you guys for real. Like my homeboy Ray Young, who should have been here, but he's
Ray
battling.
from UCLA?
Yeah, he's
I'm
battling
a
that
hoop
thing.
head.
Yeah, he battling that virus.
Oh, shout out to him.
He's like, yo, you got to check these dudes
He's
out.
number
He
one
told
player
me-
in the country at one point.
Ray was nice. They called him NBA Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Ray. Anything you guys can share with us that you're I mean, you've already told us a lot of shit you're doing. Anything you're working on big that you can share?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this year is going to be, God willing, COVID is so up and
Crazy,
down.
right?
But hopefully we can get back to doing more live events. So that's something that's real big for us. So like InvestFest was an idea that we had where it was like, all right, we look at Coachella, we look at Made in America, and there's a bunch of different music festivals, but there was no financial literacy festival. So it's like, all right, what if we combine all of the aspects that we already love, which is culture, music, fashion, sports, all of that stuff, and make a festival. And then I look at like Essence Fest. I went to Essence Fest one year in New Orleans, and I loved how they had like all the vendors and all of that. So last year, we decided to do InvestFest. So we had 200 small business vendors, and then we had 2 days of just panel discussions, everything from crypto to real estate to all of that stuff. Then we had musical performances. So we had like Fab perform, we had Jagged Edge, we had Neo. So it was like the first time where it was actually a vibe. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's business.
A business vibe.
Yeah, the food trucks outside.
So that was key. It was like, look, we want to support black businesses. Let's have some food trucks come and post up outside, and now we don't have to go anywhere at a convention center. Now we got business being generated. That's really group economics, right?
Yeah. So I say that to say, scaling that, hopefully 2 times bigger this year. So we getting ready for that.
When you lock in dates, let us know. We coming out for sure.
All right. We got it.
Yeah.
August
5th, 6th, and 7th.
I'm gonna let you know though.
Atlanta,
Yeah, for
Georgia.
sure.
That's where you
I live in A.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Well, yeah, we in Atlanta all the time.
Yes, sir.
So that the podcast network probably look to add like 2 more shows to that. So we're working with UTA now. Shout out to UTA. So, definitely want to get more into TV, Hollywood, stuff like that, So, probably work on a book.
Yeah. But
That'll probably happen.
producing content.
Yeah.
Not just on the audio side, but on the visual side as well. Because that's, again, something that we have to teach ourselves. Like, when I walked in, I said, what cameras y'all using? Because I want to know what y'all use. Like, I want to see. Like, okay, that's the lens. All right, what we shoot. That's the lighting they use. Okay. Again, I'm walking in, I'm learning, I'm observing. So that international traveling, like we said, we went to Nigeria. Well, first, we went to Jamaica. So my whole family's Jamaican, so that was huge. We went to Lagos, Nigeria.
Egypt.
And we plan on going back to Lagos, Nigeria for a huge episode. We went to Cairo, Egypt, Luxor, Egypt. We plan on going to London in the very near future. Just because a lot of times you hear people and you watch people, but you never actually get to see them in person.
Right.
And so we don't see anybody doing that. And I said, like you said, a lot of times people will follow the things that we're doing. And so my thing is like, if they're gonna follow something, let's follow this. Let's go international. Let your presence be known. Let your presence be seen and felt in places that nobody's going. Like how many people are going to Lagos?
And it's untapped.
Yeah.
Like you gotta realize
Yeah.
I think there's like 60 or 40 million black people in America, but there's 200 million black people in Nigeria. So when we go to Nigeria, they loving the content even though it's not really directly related to what they have because they don't have anything. So now when we go out there, it's like we speaking to a whole country, like 200 million people.
Powerful.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's the barriers of meeting people are different. Like we interviewed David O, who his father's a billionaire,
Right.
and his uncle actually happens to be the richest black person in the world. Aliko Dangote's worth $14 billion.
I didn't know his family was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
From Atlanta.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Born in Atlanta, but
His father's a billionaire, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then he's like, we in an interview, he's like, oh, you want to meet my uncle? I'll introduce you. He's not in the country right now, but y'all come back, I can introduce y'all.
Think about that. My first financial literacy lesson was about his uncle. And I'm like, wait, what, you said we can meet him? He's like, yeah, I'll have the plane sent for you. I'm like, what? Like, this is
Dope.
different, man. 10 years prior to that moment, I had wrote a lesson about him. It was based on, like, a lot of the people we see on this wall was like, here are entertainers and athletes. And, like, that was one side of the paper. And the kids had to guess the names, and they knew everybody. And then I flipped the paper on the other side, and it was the wealthiest black people on the planet. And they knew none.
No.
Because they didn't have nothing to do with entertainment. Like, Dangote comes from sugar. He comes from cement, right? He comes, like, agricultural things, right? Even David's pops comes from steel and power plants. Like, these are actual businesses that they're running and have become billionaires. No clue. Right now, if I put his picture up, half the room wouldn't know what he looked like. Wealthiest black man on the planet, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is financial literacy.
Damn.
Can y'all finally, my question, explain crypto and the boom of crypto?
Crypto, crypto's something that we've been invested in since like...
I've been waiting. I've just been sitting over here just like, okay, when can we get to the crypto?
We first got in crypto in 2017.
Yeah.
To see its growth since then to now is amazing. I'll start with Bitcoin because that's the most popular one. That's what people know the most. The word cryptocurrency, the currency part's a little misleading, I think, and that's what throws people off because it's not really currency as we know it. Because currency is like, all right, I have $1, I'm gonna give you $1. Tomorrow it's still gonna be worth $1, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you $1 and then tomorrow it's worth $1.50 or 50 cents. I can't get my hair cut like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, so they have like what's called stable coins, but we'll talk about that later on if you want. But Bitcoin is more of a store of value. It's more like digital gold.
Digital gold, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like people are hoarding Bitcoin because they think that the value is going to go up because the value has gone up, right? So now it's a thing where it's like, all right, inflation is at an all-time high. So being that inflation is so high, physical currency actually gets devalued, right? So it's like the more money that we print, the weaker the dollar gets.
Right.
They said last year, 30% of all currency that was ever created was created last year.
Yeah.
So the federal government is putting so much money in the market that is devaluing the currency all over the world, though. So now it's like, all right, Bitcoin is an opportunity to actually, because there's a limited amount, right? So it's like anything, it's supply and demand. So there's only like 18 million eventually going to be.
It's called circulating supply. So only this amount will be in existence. So I think it's like 18.9 million or something.
Yeah. So now it creates scarcity, so which has made the price go up over the course of time. And then there's a lot of other values as well, as far as, you know, being able to transfer it and all over the world, the speed, things of that nature. But now what's happened is that from Bitcoin, there's like thousands of different cryptocurrencies, right? So you have like Ethereum, and they all move on the blockchain. So like there's records of everything. They move a lot quicker, because we were saying a couple of years ago, it was like the quickest way, what's the fastest way to get $1 million from New York to London? If I had to ask you right now, like what would be the fastest way to get $1 million from New York to London?
Take it on a plane with you?
Exactly. That's crazy. Yeah.
He's the only one who ever got that right.
That's crazy if you think about it. We're in 2022.
But then they won't let you take it on the plane with you.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you wire it, it's going to take like a day, at least a day, probably a couple of days, right?
Friday, 3 days. Can't get it to Monday.
Exactly.
Depending on the bank, it'd be 7 to 10.
Right.
Exactly. So now it's like you got, you know, you do it with XRP or one of these coins that's made for that, and you can do it within minutes. So the cryptocurrency space is something that I think is going to just continue to go. And now it's being tied in with so many other different things. So now you got the metaverse, right? Now you've got NFTs, and it's creating a whole ecosystem where it's like, all right, NFTs is being built on blockchains, and most of them are being built on Ethereum or Solana, which is another cryptocurrency. You have to buy NFTs with cryptocurrency, right? And I think that's how it's going to be in the metaverse also, where it's like, all right, if you want to buy something in the metaverse, you're probably going to have to buy it with, like, even if you buy real estate now in the metaverse, we're looking at real estate in the metaverse. You buy real estate in the metaverse, you have to buy it with cryptocurrency. So it's all
coin.
Doge, yeah.
But you've been trained already.
No,
Right.
I haven't.
Here's why. You have. You got kids?
Yeah.
They pay Roblox?
Yeah.
You've been trained
for the metaverse.
for the metaverse.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because when your kids ask you for money, it's 99 cents, right?
Oh, yeah, they were tearing my card up for a minute.
Exactly.
Robux.
So you already been trained, right?
No,
so
I know,
Roblox is the game, but Robux is the currency.
Yeah.
Right? And so they like, yo, Dad, can I get $4.99? I get $9.99? And what do? They change it. Once you buy it, it's 80 Robux,
Yeah.
right? I know, because my car get run up too. So you've already been trained. So like your kids are already living in the metaverse.
But you know how else they was trained already?
That's crazy.
Before.
Through Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crazy. Like, I watched The Matrix, and everybody's disappointed with The Matrix, but you got to understand. But you got to understand, The Matrix, the new Matrix, that was already done 15 years ago. They're just saying, like, they showing us that, like, this is all a video game. Metaverse. So that was the idea 15 years ago. So now it's like, it's just bringing it full circle, where it's like now people are actually talking about the metaverse. Anything that's actually being talked about was already thought about. So that's why it's like, when you see these movies about going to Mars, it's fantasy, it's sci-fi until Elon Musk decides he wants to colonize Mars.
Yeah, right.
Like Don't Look Up. Y'all seen that movie? It's a
Tripped me out.
It's a comedy.
Is it based off a true story too?
So that's the part. I'm like, yo, is this real? But I'm like, yo, somebody's having this vision.
Right.
But we grew up on video games, right? Y'all probably played Grand Theft Auto. What's the difference? You were able to do things in real time, right? You got a car, you drove. You
find you something.
Find you something. You go to the strip club if you want.
Find you
know what I'm saying?
something.
Go on a mission if you want.
Yeah.
Go to the beach if you want. All those things. You've been trained. So now when it's coming, and now there's actually corporations inside of it. So now when Gucci says we're putting our clothes inside of Roblox, your kid's like, yo, Dad, I need to, it's only $4.99. I gotta get that sweater. Because my avatar needs to look better than his.
Yeah.
You gonna do it.
And I want to get my homegirl one too.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta be fresh. We about to go to this party that they have in the world that they built.
That's Snoop's thing. That's Snoop's
Yeah, but that's real estate, right? So now somebody sees Snoop put a land in there, and they're like, what? If Snoop got land, I need to be next to
They
him.
said someone paid like on my
$450,000.
Yeah.
Because they figure people gonna come to his.
It's gonna be
spot.
popping at the crib. They're gonna see my crib right next to it.
By default, they all can't fit in there. They're gonna come in my house, and when they come, they're gonna see that I got stuff in there. I got like an art gallery.
Wait till they see my shit.
What?
That's what he was thinking.
That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying. Like that should be the thought. Like, yo, he's there.
Right.
Where we gonna be?
Yeah, but I didn't know nothing about it. I asked our team like 3 weeks ago, when could we do a show in the metaverse? I was just talking, but like, that's where it's at.
This could be happening right now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then instead of having 20 people in here, it could be 10,000.
Talk about NFTs. I just don't understand why people want to get like a monkey with a hat on. I just don't get that part.
I think, shout out to my bro 19 Keys. He actually...
Yeah, I just started following him. Smart dude.
Is he here? He might be here.
No.
Oh,
But yeah, he gave the best explanation of NFTs that I've heard in a while. So I want to reference what he said. And he said it's like, all right, NFT is non-fungible token, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like fungibility is something that you can duplicate. It's not unique. So like a dollar bill is fungible. There's nothing special about it, right? It's like outside of the serial code, but you don't care. Like if I give you $1 and I rip it up and then he gives you $1, you're not gonna be tripping. It's still $1, right? But if it's $1 and it's signed by Muhammad Ali, I rip it up and he gives you $1, that's a difference. It's not the same, right? Because now it becomes that's non-fungible. So now it's like if you take a picture of that and you put it on the blockchain, right? And now you own that, but it's in a digital wallet. So now you can verify like this is 100% authentic. This is Muhammad Ali's signature. Why? Because it has this address. The blockchain is perfect. It doesn't have any, corruption in it as of right now. So now it's like, okay, this is something that is unique. And now what they're doing is like, all right, you talk about the art, right? Where it's like, you see these Bored Apes selling for like $400,000. So it's like, all right, the number one question is like, all right, if I buy a Bored Ape outside of putting it on my avatar on Instagram, where am I gonna show this? Samsung just announced they're coming out with the NFT TV. So now you're gonna actually be able to display, buy NFTs. So now it's like, it's no difference when you go to somebody's house and they got a Warhol or they got, a dope painting that costs so much money.
Basquiat.
Yep. So now you can have a TV showing the NFT, and it's like that. But then there's other uses of it, like Nas, shout out to him, he just did something that was really dope where he had an NFT, but the owners of the NFT get royalty rights to 2 of his songs. And like Meek Mill's putting out a mixtape and it's gonna be an NFT, but you gotta have Ethereum to buy it. So there's so many...
doing something like that too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many different use cases for the NFT space. I think a lot of NFT projects are still gonna probably fail, and there's still a lot that's like just nonsense, but that's any new emerging industry, right? It's like cryptocurrency. When cryptocurrency, like a couple years ago, a lot of the coins fell apart, but that doesn't mean that cryptocurrency isn't legitimate. Right. It's just that whenever something hot, everybody just wants to rush to it. And whenever everybody rush to it, then they're gonna be just doing a bunch of nonsense and stuff that doesn't make any sense. But in between the stuff that doesn't make any sense, it's just stupid, idiotic nonsense, there are actually legitimate use cases like Nike. Counterfeit shoes is huge, right? Like, so now Nike is saying that they're gonna attach NFTs to every single shoe. So now you can verify that your shoe is 100% authentic. It's not a knockoff.
Yeah, and y'all, people who have social equity, right? Like, so y'all would be a prime example, right? You can attach an experience to it, right? And so if you two put out a piece of art and you say like, here's what this art is and here's a bid, right? So people get to bid on it. But you tell them the experience is like, yo, y'all get to be on all the smoke. Now,
I was gonna say, how can we make this experience for this wall or something just to break it down a little more like an NFT?
Right, so like, imagine like you took the picture of this space right here and people got to bid on it, or this was an art piece, right? And people got to bid, but the experience was you get to be on all the smoke once a year. Well, let's do it for just 1 year. We get to be on the smoke for a year. We get to teach you how to do an actual podcast, right? You get to come to a live tapings for a year, right? The
live taping would be big.
Yeah.
That would be big because it's like Gary Vee did that and he made $90 million and like he did different tiers. So he do different tiers, right? So like one of the tiers is like he'll appear on your podcast for 2 years.
Right.
So you guys is bringing on Allen Iverson, all these different. So that tier would be like a top level tier where like you could just be a fly in the room. People would pay $100,000 just to be in the room with Allen Iverson.
Can you do an NFT of a championship ring?
You could?
Yeah.
But imagine if you had like the guest was LeBron. And now that was what they were bidding on. How much you think that ticket's gonna be? Right? And here's the thing, like if somebody bought it at this price and you put an expiration date, like this is the day of the taping, all the way up to that date, like maybe a week before, you could keep it there, but like somebody buys it, right? And they decide, you know what, I'm gonna sell it, you get a commission on it because you put a commission on the actual price. So like if it's a 10%, every time that experience gets sold, like you getting paid. So that after you do it for 1 year, all right, well, let's do that for 4 episodes next year. You see what I'm saying? And then you just keep going with it.
Or it's like,
and then inside of the metaverse, you create this studio, right? And then you have a bunch of people, but on the bottom floor, you get some of the NFTs that you've had, right? So now you got artwork that you've bought, and people, like, when they walk in, they can bid on your artwork. Like, if you decide today, I'm gonna just I'm gonna put some
I got
art
a bunch of dope art
Exactly.
at my crib.
Or it's like, let's say trading cards. It's like you do like a Al Harrington. Everybody's coming to show an Al Harrington trading card, and then that trading card, with that they get to play one-on-one with Al Harrington. Since somebody is going to pay $300,000 just cause, like, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, all right, you split it with Al, and then you both win, and then it's like you can transfer that to like, okay, next year it's going to be a 3-on-3 game. Right? Yeah. And now the 3-on-3 game can actually be even more money. And then, like he said, the beautiful thing about the NFTs is that it lasts forever, but every time it is resold, you get a commission on it. So like with the sports, the opportunities is limitless with sports, like what you guys could be doing with the NFTs. And don't think about it like it's just a picture of something. I think the real value is like attaching it to something physical, whether it's in a show, experience, something like that. And you'd be surprised how much people will pay for that type of experience.
Like this shirt right here. Mm-hmm. So like imagine like you have the store inside of your real estate in the metaverse, right? And you sell that for 99 cents. It's the same thing that your kids just did with you. They got you for the Roblox. But now we get all the smoke on the merch, and now it's like, I was just in they got these for 99 cents right now. 99 cents adds up when you got 60,000 people visiting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hope y'all are taking notes.
And what were you doing? You were probably just chilling.
Or debate show. I'm giving out too many ideas right now.
Yeah, you can say that. I love it. Shit, like I said, we coming to stay with y'all for a whole week during the summer. This is dope, man, because like I said, you make it interesting and fun and relatable. You can relate it to shit, and that's why I have, it's funny, the guy that does my taxes starting this week, actually Thursday, he's coming to start teaching my kids about taxes, NFTs, crypto, investments, LLCs, because they have this little popping little podcast, so they're going to start getting income. So I was even working with these guys, like how can we start teaching them early to me, because so use my kids as posters to start teaching these 13, 12, 13, 14-year-olds.
Yeah, it's important.
So I think that shit is really dope.
We grew up thinking about taxes as, when am I getting my tax return? Mm-hmm. Like, until you realize when you actually start accumulating wealth, like, wait, we're just giving money back that they took from us.
Right.
Like, this isn't we should be glorifying this.
Yeah, it was like, 48% of us?
Man, too goddamn much.
They was digging in us.
Yeah. What athlete y'all consider a good entrepreneur, and why?
Well, I gotta give a shout out to Al, because that's our bro.
Well, that's part of me too, because I was there with Al, starting Viola.
Okay.
Him, yes.
Yeah.
There was a studio inside of Viola for All the Smoke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I didn't even start yet, and he was like, "Yo, we gonna do it right here."
That was crazy. He was telling us about the show before it started.
That was a test episode.
We were first gonna fuck with Al, but then he just kept disappearing on us.
He stayed on the go.
He was in Oregon and he was in Michigan.
He stayed on the go.
Nah, but Al, LeBron.
I was gonna say,
like, that's just amazing to see what he's been able to do with his team. And it's like, LeBron is just like, I think he's my GOAT for a variety of different reasons. But like,
talking basketball now, not business.
Both. But multi-GOAT. But what he's been able to do with his team while he's still playing. Right. Yeah. Like, even like Jordan, shout out to Mike Jordan, but he did a lot of stuff after. Mm-hmm. Even Magic, it was after. Mm-hmm. LeBron's like actively doing this. That's not easy to do. Like,
you got to think about it though. The dues they paid and the stuff they went through, they set it up for him to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because actually, like the deals Jordan had and all that, like, if he wasn't doing what he did, they wouldn't have got the $100 million contracts and all that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah,
and the timing of everything, the timing had a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The way it was set up for Bron coming out of high school, and it was set up for him perfect. But the biggest thing that I like to touch on every time we talk about Bron is what he did for his boys. It's a million people, and I'm guilty of it. Yeah. Trying to bring your whole boys along and put them in position, and they don't buy in. They want you to hand them stuff. But through he the only one I know did it right.
Yeah.
With his boys, brought them up and put them in position, and I think they was hungry as well. So I salute him for that too.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Like with Jordan and Magic, they incredible businessmen. We can see that. I don't know who his partner is.
Right.
Like, I hear Reggie's the head of Jordan, but I didn't see him when he was playing with the Bulls. We know who Rich Paul is.
Right.
Mav
we
Carter.
know who Maverick Carter is.
Yeah.
And they become moguls on their own.
On their own. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's completely different. And so we taking that out there blueprint. Like, we took a lot from sports and entertainment, right? But how Rockefeller was built. Like, there was three of them, there's three of us. Bron put his team on. Like, shout out to Abdullah. He was a kid in my after-school program. Now he's our manager. He didn't go to school for that.
Oh, the dude I met earlier.
Yeah. He didn't go to school for that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I told him, like, look, man, you want to work for me? And he was like, nah, straight up. We was on the bus ride one day. I'm like, yo, you want to work for me one day? He's like, nah, I ain't go to school for that. Why would I work for you? I'm like, why you thinking like that? What if I paid you $100,000? He was like, if you pay me $100,000, I'll work for you. I'm like, but what says I can't, right? And so now we brought that conversation up. He was like, yo, bro, you was right. Like, I was too close-minded, but like, we're putting him on. Imagine what he does now when he's only 25 years old, but imagine when he's 30, what he's gonna look like. Right? Rich Paul, we didn't think he would be like, Bron knew it. Matt, these guys have created their own businesses, their own worlds, and there are people under them that are learning, right? But he had to go, like even Matt, when he told us, he's like, I had to go to Nike. I had to intern there for a year. I had to really study what was going on there to understand the business.
Rich Paul too. Rich Paul was under. He was under what agent? He was under Leon Rose. Leon Rose. And then Floyd. Of course, we gotta give Floyd his flowers too.
Yes,
I don't think Floyd gets enough credit
because they hate him because he put it in their face. Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah.
He revolutionized.
He about to go
boxing.
get another check just to
just cause.
Yeah, I think the wealthiest man in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he at this point he just.
Yeah, that's crazy. They said he was making an NFT out of it.
Oh, would y'all ever fight? Yeah, that's big right now.
I wouldn't.
That's big right now. All the athletes is boxing now.
Depend on the number.
I think Matt might fight.
How come you wouldn't play around like
good. I'm cool. I ain't got nothing to prove. I knock motherfuckers out with TV. Biggest brawl ever. I'm cool. You seen my work. You seen my work. I ain't got nothing to prove.
You got the TS chain?
Yes, Joe gave it to me on the show.
That's earned, not given.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Shout out to Joe.
For real.
But you would do it if
Just
the
depends
check.
on what the number was looking like. Depends. Yeah.
I ain't got it in me.
All right, man. This shit has been dope. Super educational.
You made a new friend doing the show.
Huh?
So you made a new friend doing the show.
Yeah, he came over.
I was thinking about getting this type of dog. Somebody was on the plane with this. It didn't move the entire time.
Yeah, sleep the whole time.
This dude might be a smoker.
Definitely is now.
Quick hitters. Top 5 businessmen in rap.
Hove next. Go to number 2.
Puff.
Hove, Puff.
50.
Got it. Yes.
Dre.
I say Baby. Cash Money.
Yeah.
That's a good 5.
I love what Ross is doing though.
Ross shout out to Ross. Definitely Ross. Master P.
It's
a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Nas has stepped up too.
Nas
with the ring and all that
shit. Nas is killing it right now.
That's heavy.
Nas is killing it.
Nas, if you're listening.
Oh, we need Esco.
Yeah.
We need y'all too.
We all do. We all do.
He out here in LA too.
We'll have a panel. All the smoke on your legs.
Nas, do that. Do that. That's hard.
Pick you apart.
Biggest impulse purchase you've made?
Ooh.
Let him go.
We've all made them. We've all made them.
Hey, Jack was known for cars and jewelry, boy.
What you mean? Still is. The shit changed.
Yeah.
I'll say the worst decision I made. I bought a BMW 525.
But that was like when you was like
It was bad though, bro.
20 years ago.
Nah, like 15. But I bought it. I couldn't afford it. But bottom line is I couldn't afford it. Like I remember me and him we went to go pick it up, and they gave me the number back, and they were like, "Yeah, the payment's going to be $589 a month." And at the time, I was making like $1,200 every 2 weeks. I was like, "All right,
I'm figuring it out.
let's do it." 5 years later, I'm like, "What the? I can't afford to fix this thing."
Teacher salary was going crazy.
But I was fresh out there. Though. I was looking good out there.
I was clean though. I was clean.
Got some things off that too.
My financial advisor was there with me. I felt confident. He was just like, "Yo, it's fine. Yo, get that."
That was the homie speaking.
Yeah. I think the biggest impulse purchase I've made, this bracelet that I have on now, this is a smaller version. I was in Atlanta, and I was kind of peer pressured into buying. It was like 3 times bigger than this.
How much was it, if you don't mind?
Where were you?
I was in a Rolex store.
Okay.
And I think Lennox, right?
Yeah,
Lennox,
I think it was like 70,000, and I got it. And you know what? It was one of these things where I don't want to feel uncomfortable, and I'm like, I'm wearing this, and I'm a target just by wearing it.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I'm not a rapper. I don't really know if this really is the best decision. So I went back the next day and
downgraded.
Yeah.
Smaller bracelets.
Smaller.
I ain't mad at you.
Smaller.
Hey man, it's you. No.
Hey,
Because you know you come and talk as soon as you put that motherfucker on. It's over.
The next call is like, yeah. So How much is it to get security on a daily basis?
Exactly. You start to calculate all these things, like it's not.
Yeah, that's a new expense, a security expense.
It's not worth it.
One dream purchase you hope to make.
I want to build property in Jamaica. Like I said, my whole family's from there. And when I went back, I saw why they never wanted me to go back, if that makes sense. But that land means so much to my family and to me that I feel it's only right. I have to have land out there and property for us to go back as a family.
How old are y'all?
I'm 39.
I'm 37.
Oh, so we kind of similar, the same age.
We got a man.
I was watching y'all, man. We grew up watching y'all.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
For me, it'd probably buy my parents a home. I mean, it's something I haven't done yet, but definitely, want to do that.
Best feeling in the world. I done had everything, but nothing top that. Going home, when I going home, knowing the house paid for, knowing it's gonna be there, knowing it's how she want it. You know what I mean? Don't nothing feel better than that, bro.
Yeah,
nothing.
dope.
Top 3 stocks to invest in at the moment. Come on, I'm just from listening.
Should we just name them? I'll say Facebook, Meta, Apple, Microsoft.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah.
Go-tos.
That's a good list.
Yeah. He couldn't even say it. He just started that's a good list.
Can't go
Top
wrong.
5 businessmen in sports.
Well,
It
Michael.
don't have to be actual numbers, just who you feel.
Yeah,
Businessman in sports, okay.
Junior Bridgman.
Yeah.
That's people don't even know about Junior Bridgman.
Yeah.
He's a legend. Jamal Mashburn,
I was just going to say that.
Magic Johnson. You got any?
You took my Jamal Mashburn. Who else we got?
I'm trying to name people that we didn't name already.
I know. I mean, Chauncey was doing his thing, but now he's coaching in Portland.
Is it Vinny Johnson that has dealerships in Detroit?
Vinny, we was on cover him.
Yeah,
Vinny Johnson, the microwave. Yeah. He's doing his thing.
Vinny
too.
Johnson's doing his thing.
But that's the thing, like
So many people.
these type of
do
things,
it.
like they're doing it, but
Tracy
who-
and Jermaine,
Yeah.
they doing their thing
not-
too.
we actually-
They got a
we
sports
actually-
agency now.
we're about to speak to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's a prime example. Like after they're finished playing,
Highlighting it.
you know, the next time you're gonna see him on something with Brian Gumbel, like on Real Sports on HBO. It's like, look at what they're doing now.
it.
But like, nah, they're doing it right now. Let's
Right.
talk to them right now.
Yeah.
Like, let's not wait 15 years until they like, all right, I'm done with the business. Here's what I did. Like, nah, they're doing it right now. Let's talk to them
Process,
right now.
inspire.
Exactly.
Last question, man. Who do y'all want to see on our show? But, like Matt say, before y'all answer, y'all have to help us get y'all answer on this show.
Okay. Well,
Y'all know who?
I think everybody's trying to get in.
well, all right. I'm gonna give you 2 answers.
All right.
One we can definitely help out on. Rick Ross.
Okay,
Been
sure.
trying to get Ross.
So Ross.
That can
Yeah.
happen.
That can definitely happen. And another one I don't know if I can help out on, but I would love to see LeBron on.
Yeah, we trying to get him. We trying to
Y'all
get
had
him.
tip on yet?
Nah, we need Tip.
Oh, that's easy.
That's a phone call.
That's easy.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
We talked. I didn't talk to Tip
Yeah,
a
we're
couple
supposed
times.
to be lined up a couple times, but some shit that came
That
up.
can
But
happen.
yeah, Ross and Tip.
Tip is in my top
I
10
wanna see
all
Magic.
time.
Magic, good call.
I want to see Magic. I know you're an LA guy.
Yeah.
Magic sent me a dope wedding shout out too. Out the blue, yeah. And I haven't seen Magic in
The
years.
last interview we saw with him was with Maverick Carter. And we
Yeah.
haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
And Magic, I mean, talk about Kings of LA.
It's the Magic Man.
Yes.
But yeah, so we're gonna work on Tip and Ross for you.
Yeah,
get
for
that
sure.
Appreciate that,
That's
man.
love.
Well, man, that's a wrap. I love these type of shows, man. With just exceed your expectations. Again, we coming to crash with y'all this summer. I want to continue to learn, but again, you guys have made it fun, and I think that's important.
Appreciate
That's why it's relatable, man. So continue success with you guys.
Salute to y'all
Let's
too.
figure out what we could do together. Y'all just gave us an NFT idea. Hope everyone was checking it out.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who else? You know who else would be a
Okay.
good guest for y'all? We can help out with if you're interested. Who's definitely gonna be a good conversation? Soldier Boy.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I like so.
Soldier Boy.
I'm just telling you, he gonna have me laughing too hard. But I ain't gonna-
That's what I'm saying.
I ain't gonna keep it together over here.
He's a genius.
Yo, he's
Yeah,
smart.
And he
yeah.
smoke a lot.
He smokes
yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
All the
Big
time.
Soldier, Big Draco.
Big
Draco.
Big Draco.
First, yeah, put some respect on it. Anyway, man, that's a wrap. All the smoke, times, earn your leisure. You can find us on Showtime Basketball YouTube and the iHeart platform Black Effects.
You
See y'all
dig.
next week.
The son of a former boxing legend aims to forge his own legacy when undefeated Tim Tszyu makes his highly anticipated American debut. If you see me come, then you better run. Yeah.
But a dangerous Terrell Gachet will not extend a warm welcome.
Right hand delivers the knockdown.
Who deserves a title shot in boxing's deepest division? Tim Tszyu versus Terrell Gachet, live on Showtime.